Hey y'all, I am stealing a few moments because I am downtown and have just left a really great meeting, convention setting for some really great women in the area, and just had extra time on my meter. So I thought I will steal some time and get this video posted since it has been long overdue. Life gets crazy, and honestly, God has just really been continuing to teach me more on this, and I'm thankful for a little bit more distance, I guess, between the last video that I did that I didn't anticipate having the distance between. Anyway, so we were talking about setting up strategies and what the enemy comes at us with, and how we are just frustrated with the type of attacks that he does, and how he's so strategic, and how asking the Father to show us how to pray against those things so that we can come to battle and do those things effectively and powerfully, and knowing who we are and who we were created to do, to be, and to not have to fight against the, oh, maybe that's too much, maybe I shouldn't be praying this way, or maybe I don't have the authority to stand on this. And I think that this is a really great place for us to be at, because there's a lot of talking about, is it too much to actually go into battle and meet our enemy? And the joy that I have right now to share this with you is because I have been so frustrated about the attacks of the enemy on myself, on my family, on sisters, just really close friends that are basically family to me, and I'm tired of it. And so I want us to trudge through and set up some really great game plans so that we can move forward in warfare, so that he doesn't have the upper hand on us. Let's go to battle. One of the things, and I think the first thing that God has taught me about going to battle against Satan and his minions, is that when I go and ask God to show me, how do I pray through this? How do I battle through this? The first thing he asked me to do is to come in with a clean heart. And mostly I've learned that that is because he wants me to be able to go to court, because the enemy's coming essentially to create a legal document to attack us. And so he has gone in and asked for permission, essentially to be able to say, I'm coming at her, myself, that way, because she's never going to stand on it underneath this pressure, underneath this attack, and I can prove it. This is a legal document that once she fails, I get to XYZ. And so what he's asked me over and over again is to come in to prepare myself with a clean heart. And so what that means in my relationship with him is that he continually, whether I want to or not, he brings me full circle and back around, and he asks me to confess. And he wants me to deal with the business and the situation my own heart is in, so that I don't go into battle unprepared and giving the enemy more ammunition. And to be quite honest, I have wanted to skip past that part on almost every single occasion, because it's not comfortable and it's not pretty, and that's not where I want to start. I don't want to start looking at me. I want to start going to battle with him, because honestly, he's a jerk. And he needs to be under my foot and out of my way, because I have places to go. I have ground that the Lord has promised me, and I want to go stand on it. Well, I can't get into promise without having a clean heart. And so he again, every time, makes me slow down and actually take the time to confess. And it's not even an option to move around it. And so having to do that, I kind of just recently started expecting it, and we've been doing this for a long time, but it just recently has become a part of, okay, this is actually part of the game plan. This is actually part of the strategy. To be able to prepare myself accordingly, I know we're going to have to go through and dig at the junk in my heart, and we're going to have to sift out why it's there. I may have to go and apologize to people that I really didn't want to have to come at, and apologize. And my relationships need to be healthy, and that doesn't mean that we go through every sin I've ever committed and we're dealing with all of that, but there are things that have to be burned up before we can go through and move forward. So at that point, what I want to say is just be prepared. If you're really ready to start fighting in war against your enemy, this is how we start. We start by sitting down and asking God to show you what do I need to get rid of? What is in my way of hearing you better? What is in the way that the enemy continues to be using against me? How do I move forward? What is it that needs to be burned up? What is the baggage that I'm holding on that he keeps casting stuff at me, that he's reminding me of things that we've already dealt with, or I thought I dealt with? Or is there something I'm like holding on to? Unforgiveness is probably the one thing that gets me almost every single time. And it's my frustration, or, just being upset with someone, or, pride, and saying that my feelings or what I wanted, my agenda, was way more important than what was coming from the other side. And so I have to set myself aside and see that it's God's perspective that matters. And I have to be able to remember that this other person is God's person as well. And they are in my life to love, and they are in my life to love me. And broken relationships, there is just a really great way for the enemy to get into my heart and theirs. And we have to hedge up those places first. So I'm encouraging you guys to spend the next several days, and maybe the next couple of weeks, just really getting before the Lord and just asking him to show you about the relationships. What is it that is in your relationships? What is it that's in between you and him that is keeping you all from having healthy communication? Are there some things you need to walk away from? Is there relationships you have to walk away from? I know that there's been some broken friendships that just weren't healthy, that the Lord has asked me to dissolve, and those always hurt. Those aren't ever easy. But are there relationships that need to be mended that you broke without talking to him about first? Or is there just junk in between you and the people that you love? Go there first. It's not going to be any fun, I promise that. I promise that it will be hard. I promise that it will be worth it. Because you'll learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about tactics from the enemy just in doing that. It's a hard act of obedience, but the enemy comes at us so often during our relationships, and he plays so much and meddles so intently within our minds, because that is it's easy fodder. It's such a great battlefield, because it is a place where we can spin. It's a place where he doesn't have to throw very many rocks into the middle of, because the ripple effect, especially with us women, we don't have a lot of the times, and it doesn't, not that it can't happen, but most of the time women, their brains are just kind of networking into all the other details and thoughts that go on in our lives. And men have this great gift of compartmentalizing, and oftentimes that annoys the junk out of us as women. But it is a gift under these circumstances a lot of times. But being able to spend some time with the people that you love, and spend some time in God's Word and with a journal, and just let him talk to you. Let him breathe some life into some places that have some dry bones, and see what needs to be buried, what needs to be examined, and what needs to be resurrected. So that is my challenge for you today. Hope to get on here a little bit later and post a few more things, but just wanted to reach out to you when I had the moment. And I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Bye.